Hello and Jai Shri Ram. So today we are here to discuss the topic overthinking. This is the part 2, the spiritual version of the topic. So first remembering my Sadguru Dev, Yugtulsi, Manas Marmagya Shri Ramkinkarji Upadhyay. Let us start with the topic right away. In overthinking, you either stay inactive, that is, stay as you are, or end your mortal self. That is committing suicide in the extreme case. So, the starting is very weird. I suppose you understand that, but it is very necessary so that you get serious about what I am trying to say. And there is a third aspect also, that you do something for the betterment of the situation depending on your perception. So this word perception is very important here. We can take the example of Ravan in the first case, who kept on thinking and the truth dawned on him. He was so lucky, or you can say he was so intelligent, that Ram was God, because who else could kill Khar, Dushan, Trishra, who were as powerful as himself? But instead of changing his demonic ways, he made the excuse to remain unchanged by saying that being a demon, he could not be a devotee, and thus he is killed. As we all know, he did not avail the chance he got. In the second case, all the monkeys who had reached the seashore in search of Sitaji decided to give up on their lives by giving up food and water, because they thought that anyways their death was certain. Sugriv had declared that whoever would return after 1 month without finding the whereabouts of Sitaji would be killed. They got completely hopeless. The third aspect, we will take a few examples altogether different from each other. In the third aspect, I am saying it is upon you which one to choose for yourself. As I said in the previous session, that is part 1 of overthinking, that our thinking is actually not ours. It is influenced by the society and the conditioning, and also the tendencies that we have in very minute form inside us, which trigger on certain thinking patterns, Manthra came to know that Ram will be crowned the future king of Ayodhya the next morning. She influenced the thoughts of Queen Kaikeyi and made her overthink as she wanted. She scared her by painting false pictures of a dreadful future. She planted greed in Kaikeyi by suggesting how her son could be crowned instead of Ram. She also suggested that she should take revenge against Kaushalya and Ram, who were seemingly plotting against her and her son Bharat. We know that there was no truth in any of these, but overthinking created a false future which did not even exist. The most interesting part is that she cited all the scriptures and narrated all those stories where the wives of one man gave pain to each other in jealousy. This series did not stop here. After Mantra inflicted Kaikeyi to overthink wrongly, Kaikeyi did the same thing to make King Dashrath believe that when he would grant her 2 boons she asked for, he would actually be taking the side of the truth described in the scriptures. So such is the power of overthinking yourself and making others overthink. Dashrathji was King Manu in the previous birth, who did hard penance in the previous birth to please Lord Ram and get the boon that the Lord would be his son in his next birth. Whenever one does penance, it is either that he has developed detachment from the worldly pleasures and wants to attain God, or he wants some special powers from God. If we look at King Manu, he was neither detached from the worldly pleasures even after reaching old age, nor did he want any special powers. We see that he observed that he did not have detachment in his life. Was there any sorrow or suffering in his life? No, he had everything favorable in his life, which is rarely possible in the world. But then it was his overthinking which directed him to ponder over the teachings of the scriptures as to what is the highest possibility of being human. It sounds weird, as there seems no apparent need to observe such hard penance when life is so favorable. He says that there is so much pain and sorrow in his heart as life was wasted without the devotion of the Lord. He did hard penance with his wife, Queen Shatrupa, and got the boon that the abode of happiness, Lord Ram, would become their son. So, here, this overthinking makes him realize what is the real sorrow and what is the real happiness of being human. But unfortunately, King Dashrath took the wrong decision to identify what was the real truth as his thinking was hijacked. How can we get rid of overthinking which makes us to which takes us to wrong thinking? If we see the overthinking in devotees, we may feel it is unnecessary, but their overthinking gives them so much joy. Take the example of the greatest devotee Bharatji Maharaj. It is very hard to decode his thinking. He was called back from his maternal home as King Dashrath left his mortal body in the grief of separation from Ram. Whole of Ayodhya, including Guru Vashisht, Queen Kaushalya, and all the ministers asked Bharat to take care of Ayodhya as the king, and they gave reasons to support their proposal, which seemed as if no one could challenge those reasons. It was very simple for Bharatji to rule Ayodhya, at least for 14 years, and when Lord Ram would have returned, the reins of the kingdom could easily be handed back to him. It seems that Bharatji is overthinking, but he politely gives suitable reply to everyone, but makes them see the real inner desire which has to be fulfilled, and that was to crown Lord Ram in Chitrakoot as he was the real master. He takes everyone to Chitrakoot along with a large army as well, and also Queen Kaikeyi along with him. All this seems so unessential, but after seeing the results, we can understand that how far overthinking can go and grant us peace and bliss, and the greatest of all, love in our lives. It takes us to the root cause, which means all other things may seem to be providing the solution, but the real solution is attaining the proximity of the Lord. Nothing else can fulfill us. So if your overthinking leads you to this point, then you have a blessed overthinking, I would say. When we read Sundarkand, Hanumanji is seen thinking at every step, which can be categorized under overthinking. but we see it resulted in more and more patience and not impulsive actions. It also made him realize that the Lord is the controller of all actions, and we see that he becomes a total witness and not a doer. When he was tied up and brought in Ravan's courtroom, he was not free to act apparently. So he observed whatever was happening around him and saw the grace of the Lord in everything he saw. His overthinking led him beyond thinking and act just as an instrument of God without any ego of doership. He got the greatest boon from Mother Sita, that the Lord will love him like his own little son. If overthinking is done non-stop, trying to look into deeper meanings, gradually many questions will be solved, leading to minimizing of fears and taking right decisions. When Lord Ram killed Demoness Tarka and her son Subahu, he hit her other son Marich with a blunt arrow. It landed him beside the sea. Marich later told Ravan that after that, wherever he saw, he would see the two brothers Ram and Lakshman. He constantly thought of them. Constantly thought of them. When Ravan asked him to assist in Sita's abduction by taking the form of the golden deer, he is thinking about his death. Marich is thinking about his death. The greatest fear of life is about death only, and one keeps thinking about it and wants to avoid it and be immortal, or at least confirm a seat in heaven to enjoy the great pleasures. But here we see Marich, who could see that his death was certain, either at the hands of Lord Ram or Ravan. He makes the greatest choice ever. He chooses his death wisely and decides to die at the hands of his most beloved, that is Param Sanehi, the Lord himself. Overthinking generally leads us swinging in our fears. It is up to us whether we act rightly or give up, which means to lead our life unawareingly. Overthinking is not a curse if it is not on repeated patterns and in a loop. It is the greatest boon, as it can lead us to complete surrender to the Lord, relieving us of all our fears. It can lead us to eternal wisdom and blissful devotion. It can make us realize the real purpose of life. It can help us find the answer to who am I? And remember, this is the biggest question. And to know who am I, you have to walk on your own path. Nobody can do it for you, and your answer will be your answer. The answer of even your best friend will be different from you. So this is the biggest question, and once you start getting hints of who am I, because this answer doesn't happen in who am I, I am this, it doesn't happen like that. It needs clarity, which comes with time. And when you finally realize who am I, then it it changes your life completely. It is very difficult to tell about it. You cannot, even if you know, you won't be able to tell anyone because everyone has to find his own answer. But who am I? It can finally help us know our real nature, feel the divine love of God, and realize His infinite grace showering upon us every moment. Then we will be free of doubt, sorrow, and delusion and experience everlasting joy, bliss, and love. So don't be fooled by people who are trying to make you thoughtless. You should always make best use of what you have. So we have this problem of overthinking, and this session must have made you realize that it is not a problem. You just have to use it correctly, and overthinking can give you everything that you want in life, and it can give you things that you never imagined that they existed, and they will make you feel that you don't even need the things that you want in life, no matter how much importance you give to them. But this divine overthinking, this overthinking how to attain God, how to see God's grace and love in every action, how to overthink that what wrong we are doing, how we can attain a cleaner intellect. And a cleaner intellect is the one who which takes you in close proximity to the Lord. Overthinking is very, very good, very blissful. It also makes you topsy turvy. It will just make your mind like in that swing, round round swing. I don't know what I'm saying, but just giving you some ideas. And sometimes you will be like sometimes, but जब जब बिल्कुल उसमें लग जाते हैं ना, when you are just after overthinking, I will not leave you, then you get higher and higher, and you realize that this joy has no match. And then you understand the phrase Hari, I don't remember the chopai correctly, Hari Anant, Hari Katha Ananta. Then you realize that overthinking can still not match the infinite attributes of the Lord. And so keep on overthinking, keep on coming closer to God, keep enjoying life, keep enjoying your fears, go beyond them. It is not as easy as I am saying right now, but so many moments you will be having silent eureka in your life, and when you will try to tell someone about it, he will not understand. He will think that you need a psychiatrist. But this joy, this bliss is unmatched, unparalleled. This is something very big. This is something very nectarian, like the ambrosia. Overthink, guys, overthink. I want to say so many other things, but my mind is tasting the nectar of this. Overthink, 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 and experience this. And if you want any queries, if you have and you want to ask, then we will see to it. So that was it. Bye. Bye. Bye and Jai Shri Ram.